Hello, this is Dodatsu from Untapped.in. I am giving a tutorial for Fire Emblem TCG. This is me narrating over a pre-recorded game with my opponent's no two hands. Fire Emblem TCG is a Japan exclusive card game, but I am just bringing this to the Untapped community to show it off to international players. So we start with a 49 card main deck and one card in play called the main character. The main character is permanently on the field until the end of the game. It can attack like a monster from any other TCG, and most of all, it can upgrade into stronger versions of itself from the deck. So to prep for game, we first start by drawing 6 cards. We've centered our MCs, so we can play cards to decide. To mulligan, shuffle your whole hand back and draw 6 new. Next, we draw 5 to face down pile. These are our life points. The objective of the game is to play more units from hands that we call monsters in this game, and attack the opposing MC with your units and your MC. When your MC is hit by an attack, you draw usually 1 orb. But when you reach 0 orbs and you take 1 more hit from an attack, you lose the game. I have the first turn, so I will start. First phase, untap and draw. First turn player skips. Next phase, bond phase. Take a card from your hand and place it to the side. This is the mana of the game, called bonds. Right now I have 1 face-up purple bond, so that means I can tap it for 1 purple mana to play a cost 1 purple unit. I will spend my purple bond during the next phase, deploy phase. I tap my purple bond to deploy a cost 1. I deploy Elowood 1 to the front row. So you can only have 1 unique character name on the field at the same time. By unique character name, I mean the name in quotes under the translation. Also, the field is divided into 2 rows, front and back. That means I deployed Elowood to the front row, and I could also deploy him to the back during the deploy phase. This is affected by the range of units, which determines what opposing units they can target for attacks. The range is the small number to the right of the lower left number. For example, 1, 1-2, and 2. So you would count that many rows ahead of the units in order to find enemy units you can target for attacks. For example, Elowood is a range 1 unit. That means counting 1 row ahead of him, that you would be able to target the front row of the opponent. And in my opponent's front row is his Ulm MC. Therefore, Elowood can target Ulm for an attack. Louise is a range 2 unit. That means you can only count 2 rows ahead of her in order to target units for attack. So 2 rows ahead of Louise in the back is again the front row of my opponent, and that means Louise can target his Ulm MC in the front. If I play Louise front instead, she only can count 2 rows to the opponent's back, skipping the opponent's front row because she is not range 1-2. The next phase is the main phase. Here you can attack and use ACT skills in any order you want. The first turn player cannot attack, however, you can use ACT skills like Lin's. The cost of Lin's ACT skill is flip one bond, which means flipping a bond in our bond area face down. When a bond is face down, it loses its color, which means I have to play another purple card from hand during my next bond phase in order to regain that color to play more purple units. So also, you only need one bond of a color in your bond area in order to play that color, so multicolored decks are simple to make. And you add together both face down and face up bonds for your total mana to spend during the deploy phase. So I will be skipping ahead to speed things up. My opponent drew a card, just bonded the FE, and will deploy his cost 1 Celica to the back row. Then he will move to the main phase, where he will attack Ellawood with his Celica. Alright, combat begins. So first, we will play the top card of our deck to the field. These are the support units for combat. Their relevant number is the lower right number on their cards. So in my case, I have Ellawood 4, which is the upgraded version of Ellawood 1 currently on the field. But his support value is just 20, not the 70. The lower left number is the one you'll be adding the support value to of your unit in combat. So Ellawood 1 has 40 of the lower left number, which is the attack and defense of the unit. So adding those two together, you would get 20 from Ellawood 4 and 40 for Ellawood 1 for 60 total. And in my opponent's case, they have Alm 4, which has a 20 support value as well, and Celica, which has 30 attack, so 50 total. However, this is actually an exception to the rule because I supported a card with the same character name as my unit in combat. The support would actually fail, and I cannot add the support value nor trigger skills. So I only have my base 40. Celica, since Celica plus Alm is 50 and greater than or equal to my 40, my Ellawood is hit. And since my Ellawood is a non-MC, he gets sent to the discard, which we call the retreat area. At the end of combat, we also send our support units to the discard/retreat area. Okay, next attack. Alm versus Lin, our MC, versus my opponent's MC. So we will first support. Alright, so in my case, I have 20 support from my Pent 1 and 40 attack from my Lin 1, so I have 60 total. My opponent has Mycen with 10 support and Alm with 40 attack, so 50 total. 50 is less than 60, so in this case, my opponent misses. So my turn, I drew Untapped and bonded, but I skipped the deploy, so I will attack straight away. Okay. So I have 20 support from Sarah 1 and 40 attack from Lin 1. My opponent has 20 support from Bowie and 40 attack from Alm, 60 all. So my opponent draws an orb because his MC is hit. So on my opponent's third turn, they will place their third bond, then proceed to upgrade their MC from Alm 1 to Alm 4. How he did it is that some of the cards have a white reduced cost under their top left normal cost. You pay that cost when you already have that character name on the field. So you would just pay the cost and place it right on top, just like my opponent did. This is called a promote, and when you promote, you draw. Okay, so my turn 3 had already passed, and I did not promote because I did not draw the Lin 4, so I will show what mine looks like from my deck. So if you miss promote, basically not promote on curve, the game doesn't become entirely unwinnable, but it will be very rough for you until you promote your MC. I end up promoting into Lin 4 on my next turn, so I am now swinging with my 70 base MC into my opponent's 70 base MC. And alright, I supported a unit with a support skill. So all cost ones have a support skill that trigger when they enter as a support card from the deck. So here I trigger it. It is an attack support, which means it triggers only when I'm attacking. And Elowood's skill gives plus 10 to an attacking unit if it is purple. So that means Elowood's support functionally becomes a 30. So that means I can hit over my opponent's 30 support from FE and 70 base. We are well into the game by this point. I am attacking with Will against my opponent's promoted Tobin, and here I draw another support card with a support skill, Pent 1, which allows me to draw 1 and discard 1 from my hand. So right now, the supports plus attacks are 20 from Pent plus 60 from Will, so 80 for me, and for my opponents, 20 from Jenny and 60 for Tobin, so 80 as well for him. So right now I am hitting. However, my opponent is now going to utilize a combat step after totaling attacks. This is called the evasion step. You can discard a card from your hand with the same character name as the unit being attacked, and you can make an attack completely miss. I cannot respond to this at all. So my opponent essentially discards a Tobin from hand to save his Tobin on the field. We are now on the final turn of this game. I am saying this because I know I'm about to lose in these next few attacks. So my opponent swings with their 60 base Bowie into my 70 base Alm, and we both draw 20 supports, so I have a higher attack total. However, what my opponent does is the combat step before evasion but still after totaling, called critical hits. Similar to evasion, you discard a card with the same character name as your attacking unit, and instead of just making the attack hit, you'd actually just double the total that you set before it. So in this case, my opponent had a total of 60 plus 20 equals 80, so that doubles to 160. This is relevant because you can attack with a cost 1 with a very low attack, but after support, if you have a copy of that character in hand, you can then crit with it to hit just barely over a combined support and base of a higher attack unit and be able to hit them. This is the final attack of the game. I'm at 0 orbs, so once this hits, I lose the game. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Do hit me up on the CCCG channel on untapped.in for a hands-on tutorial yourself. It really is a unique experience. Special thanks to No Two Hands for allowing me to upload this onto his channel. I hope to see you on Untapped sometime soon.